In the play Macbeth, Shakespeare demonstrates the destruction of his characters through the idea of power. Not necessarily power itself is the most dangerous factor of destruction. Macbeth's actions upon the idea of power is the ultimate cause of his destruction. It begins by Macbeth's decision to murder King Duncan in his sleep. Initially, Macbeth does not want to commit the murder, and he debates the good and bad outcomes of this act. His temptation of the want to be in control overpowers the good in Macbeth. Lady Macbeth puts the idea of murdering Duncan in his head, and when he refuses, she denounces him as being unmanly and a coward. Essentially, what Macbeth was saying in this passage was that he will invest every muscle into this murder, and to do so, he must hide what he knows with a friendly face when Duncan enters his residence, thus meaning that Macbeth has agreed to murder King Duncan. To add on to his path to power, he attempts to murder Banquo and his son for being suspicious of Macbeth, but only Banquo's son survives. As the mental guilt of this act sets out to destroy him, he starts hallucinating Banquo's ghost at a dinner of all the Thanes, which only gets everyone else even more suspicious of Macbeth. The three witches took advantage of the fact that Macbeth was an easy target to manipulate, and due to his overpowering idea of him in power by convincing him that he's indestructible. They tempt him with knowledge that seems to be in his favor, but in reality it just adds on to Macbeth's downfall. Hecate's plan for Macbeth's extermination was to put ironically false ideas into his head about his future of being undestroyable. The apparitions that appear before Macbeth when he goes back to the witches to quench his thirst to know more about his destiny state two of three things that lead Macbeth to believe that his power triumphs all. No man that's born of a woman shall kill him. He will never be defeated until the woods of Brittingham march onto Dunsinane Hill. And lastly, there was a warning to Macbeth to beware of Macduff. Ironically, how Macbeth's ultimate abolition occurs, all two of those things the witches put in his head to be impossible happened, and Macduff was the one that got to kill him. A modern-day comparison to Macbeth would be President George W. Bush. Reasons why is that George Bush was replaced by a better figure. Some people would believe that he did great evil during his presidency, and he won the hatred of many people by the end of his term. That relates to Macbeth, because Macbeth was replaced by Malcolm, who was a better king. He murdered innocent people during his ruling, and he made everyone turn against him and started a war.